The great meeting room on Nexus Prime was quiet, too quiet. Jake Morrison sat in his chair and looked around at the 12 alien beings who thought they ruled the galaxy. For 3 long months, he had listened to their insults. For 3 months, he had stayed calm while they called humans stupid and weak. But today was different. High Chancellor Zexthara stood up from her seat. She had 4 arms and purple skin that seemed to glow under the bright lights. Her voice was loud and sharp. When she spoke, "The humans are nothing more than baby animals playing with fire," she said. Her 4 arms moved in the air like she was pushing something dirty away from her. "They should thank us for even letting them speak in our presence. We are doing them a great favor." Jake felt his jaw tighten. Behind him, his assistant Amy Carter shifted in her seat. She had been with him for 2 years and knew that look on his face. Admiral Roy Jensen, who sat to Jake's left, put his hand on the table. Dr. Lisa Hayes and Commander Paul Bennett both stopped writing in their notes. The other alien council members made sounds that might have been laughter. Counselor Brentock, who looked like a giant lizard with too many teeth, smiled in a way that made Jake's skin crawl. "The humans think they are special," Brentock said. His voice sounded like rocks grinding together. "But they are just children who found some old toys in space. They have no real power, no real knowledge. They are lucky we let them live in our galaxy." More laughter from the aliens. Jake slowly closed his datapad. The sound it made was very quiet, but in the big room it seemed loud. Amy Carter knew what that meant. She had seen him do it before, but never in a meeting this important. "Ambassador Morrison," said another voice. This one belonged to Council Leader Vexamora, an ancient being that looked like it was made of living crystal. "You seem upset. Are you not happy with our generous offer?" Jake looked at the offer on his screen one more time. The aliens wanted humans to give up their best planets. They wanted humans to work for them like slaves. They wanted humans to give them all their new technology. In return, the aliens would let humans live. "Your offer," Jake said slowly, "is not generous. It is an insult." The room got even quieter. Some of the aliens looked surprised. They were not used to humans talking back to them. "You call us children," Jake continued, standing up from his chair. "You call us stupid. You say we should be grateful just to breathe the same air as you." He looked around the room, meeting the eyes of each council member. "But we are not children, we are not stupid, and we are not grateful for your threats." High Chancellor Zexthara made a sound like a snake hissing. "How dare you speak to us this way? We have ruled this galaxy for thousands of years. We have destroyed planets, we have ended entire species. What have humans done?" "Nothing, nothing," Jake asked. He turned to face her directly. "We have survived. We have grown. We have learned. And we have watched you." Admiral Jensen stood up next. Then Dr. Hayes, then Commander Bennett. Finally, Amy Carter rose from her seat. The human delegation was ready to leave. "Ambassador Morrison," called out Counselor Brentock. "Surely you are not leaving over a few honest words." "We are only telling you the truth about your people." Jake turned slowly. His blue eyes were cold as winter. "Counselor, in 37 years of talking to aliens, I have never walked out of a meeting. Today, that changes." The aliens started making noise. Some seemed angry. Others seemed confused. A few looked worried, but Jake could not tell which ones. Council Leader Vexamora raised one of her crystal arms. The noise stopped. "Ambassador, if you leave now, there will be problems. The Council's protection is only for species that cooperate with us. If you are not with us, you are against us." Jake stopped walking. He did not turn around. Protection? From what? The Council has never faced a real enemy. You have been safe and comfortable for too long. You think you are strong because no one has tested you? That is about to change. "Are you threatening us?" Zexthara's voice was getting louder. "Are you declaring war on the entire Council?" "I am not declaring anything," Jake said. "I am simply leaving. What happens next is up to you." The human delegation walked toward the big doors. Their footsteps echoed in the quiet room. Jake could feel the eyes of every alien on his back, but He did not look back. "You will regret this," called out another council member. "Humans need us more than we need you. Your economy will collapse. Your people will starve. You will come back begging for our help." Jake reached the doors. They were huge and made of some kind of metal that seemed to shift colors in the light. For a moment, he paused. Then he spoke without turning around. "We will see." The doors opened with a deep humming sound. The human delegation walked through them and disappeared into the corridor beyond. The doors closed with a final echoing boom. For a long moment, nobody in the council room spoke. The aliens looked at each other, unsure of what had just happened. No species had ever walked out of peace talks before. No one had ever rejected the council's offer of protection. Finally, High Chancellor Zexthara broke the silence. "Good," she said. "Now we can make an example of them. When other species see what happens to those who defy the council, they will remember to show proper respect." But Council Leader Veximora was not so sure. She had lived for thousands of years and had seen many species rise and fall. There had been something in the human ambassador's voice that worried her. Something that suggested the humans were not as helpless as they seemed. "Perhaps," she said quietly, "we should be more careful. The humans may be planning something." "Counselor." Brentek laughed, showing all his sharp teeth. "What could they possibly do? They have a few dozen ships and some mining colonies. We have thousands of ships and control half the galaxy. There is no contest." But as the council members filed out of the room, talking among themselves about punishment and examples, none of them noticed the small device that had been left under the human delegation's table. It was still recording everything they said. The war had not started yet, but the first move had already been made. 3 weeks had passed since the humans walked out of the peace talks. The Galactic Council was meeting again, but this time everyone looked worried. The reports coming in from human space were strange and troubling. Dr. Sam Rodriguez stood in front of the council members. He was not human, but he had worked with humans for many years. His people looked like giant octopuses with big brains, and Sam was one of the smartest beings in the galaxy. Right now he was very concerned. "The humans have gone completely quiet," Sam said, his tentacles moving nervously. "All their colonies have stopped talking to the outside galaxy. No trade ships are leaving human space. No messages are being sent out. It is like they have disappeared." High Chancellor Zexthara made a dismissive sound. "They are acting like children who did not get their way. When their people start getting hungry without our food supplies, they will come back and apologize." But Admiral Kevinix was not so sure. He was a warrior from a species that had been fighting wars for thousands of years. He knew the difference between fear and preparation. "This is not panic," he said. "This is planning. The humans are getting ready for something big." Dr. Rodriguez nodded. "The humans call it Protocol 7. It means complete silence from the outside galaxy. No species has ever done anything like this before. They are cutting off all contact with everyone. How long can they last?" Asked Counselor Brentok. "Humans need our technology. They need our medicine. They need our food. They cannot survive alone." "That is what we thought," Sam said quietly. "But we may have been wrong. The humans have been preparing for this for a long time. They have been storing food, building factories, and training their people. They can survive without us. Much longer than we expected." Far away on the edge of human space, Captain Tony Walsh was watching his screens very carefully. His job was to guard the border and make sure no alien ships entered human territory. What he was seeing made him both excited and scared. "Sir," his communications officer Susan Blake called out, "we are picking up massive energy readings from the Sol system. Whatever they are building back home, it is huge." Tony nodded. He had fought in the wars against alien pirates 5 years ago. He had seen what humans could do when they were angry and had enough resources. The Council had just given Earth's military all the resources and motivation they needed. "Any alien ships trying to cross the border?" Tony asked. "A few scout ships have come close, but they turn back when they see our patrol ships." "They seem nervous, sir," Tony smiled. The alien scouts were right to be nervous. The humans had new ships now, ships that were faster and stronger than anything the Council had ever seen. But the aliens did not know that yet. Deep inside the moon, Dr. Karen Bell was working on something that would change everything. She was a scientist who had been studying alien technology for 20 years. Now, she was combining that knowledge with human creativity to build something incredible. The first test ships are ready, she reported to General Nick Stone. We can begin sending them out within the week. General Stone looked at the strange ships on the screen. They did not look like normal human ships. They were sleek and fast, with technology that seemed to bend the laws of physics. Are you sure they will work? The math is perfect, Dr. Bell said. We can move these ships instantly from one part of the galaxy to another. The aliens will never see them coming. Good, Stone said. The Council wants to see what humans can do. Let us show them? Meanwhile, in the Council chambers, the aliens were trying to figure out what the humans were planning. Some thought the humans were building weapons. Others thought they were preparing to run away to another galaxy. Nobody guessed the truth. We should attack them now, said Counselor Brentek, before they can finish whatever they are doing. With what excuse? Asked Council Leader Vexamora. They have not attacked us. They have not broken any laws. They have simply stopped talking to us. That is enough, Zexthara said. They rejected our generous offer. They walked out of our peace talks. That is the same as declaring war. But Admiral Kevinix shook his head. If we attack first, we become the aggressors? Other species will see us as bullies. It is better to wait and see what the humans do. What if they are building super weapons? Asked another council member. What if they are planning to destroy? U.S.? Impossible, Zexthara said. Humans do not have the technology or the knowledge to build anything that could threaten us. They are barely more advanced than animals. Dr. Rodriguez looked worried. I am not so sure. Humans learn very quickly. They take ideas from different species and combine them in new ways. They might have created something we have never seen before. The council members argued for hours, but they could not agree on what to do. Some wanted to attack immediately. Others wanted to wait and see. A few suggested trying to talk to the humans again, but Zexthara refused to consider it. We do not negotiate with species that insult us, she said firmly. The humans made their choice. Now they must live with the consequences. But as the days passed, more strange reports came in. Ships were disappearing near human space. Not destroyed, just gone. Trade routes that had been safe for centuries were now dangerous. Pirates and raiders who had operated in the area for years had vanished without a trace. Something is happening, Admiral Kevinix reported to the council. My scouts are afraid to go near human territory. They say there are strange energy readings in ships that appear and disappear like ghosts. Nonsense, Zexthara said. Humans do not have invisibility technology. Your scouts are imagining things, but deep down, even she was starting to worry. The humans had been quiet for too long. In her experience, when an enemy was quiet, it meant they were planning something terrible on Earth in a secret meeting room. The human leaders were making their final preparations. The time for hiding was almost over. Soon the galaxy would see what humans could really do when they were pushed too far. Are all our ships in position? Asked Admiral Roy Jensen. Yes, sir, replied his aide. Every system is covered. The council will not know what hit them. Good, Jensen said. It is time to remind the galaxy that humans are not to be underestimated. The calm before the storm was ending. Soon everything would change. The first sign that something was very wrong came from the outer edge of the galaxy. The Nexaran pirates had been quiet for 3 days. This was unusual because the Nexarans never stopped raiding and stealing from other species. They were like angry wasps that never rested. Council Intelligence Chief Mordek stood in front of the emergency meeting. His hands were shaking, which was strange because Mordek never got scared. He had been gathering information for the council for 50 years, and nothing had ever made him this nervous. The Nexaran fleet is gone, he said. All 238 ships? They were investigating what looked like a broken human cargo ship. That was 3 days ago. We have heard nothing since then. High Chancellor Zexthura waved her forearms dismissively. Pirates disappear all the time. They probably found something valuable and are hiding it from each other. This proves nothing about the humans. But then more reports started coming in. The Karashi trade ships had vanished near human space. 27 ships carrying food and medicine to the outer colonies, gone without a trace. The Vorthan mining station in the Omega sector had been abandoned. The workers were missing, but there were no signs of fighting or explosion. "This is impossible," said Counselor Brentek. "Ships do not just disappear. Someone must be attacking them." "But who?" asked another council member. "Our sensors show nothing. No weapons fire, no explosions, no distress calls. The ships are just there one moment and gone the next." Admiral Kevinix looked at the star map on the big screen. Red dots marked where ships had disappeared. All of them were near human space. "The pattern is clear," he said. "This is happening around human territory. The humans are involved." "Impossible," Zexthara said again. "Humans do not have the technology to make ships disappear. They are barely capable of space travel." But then something happened that made everyone in the room go quiet. The main communication screen flickered to life. A human face appeared on it. It was a woman with short brown hair and calm blue eyes. She was wearing a uniform that none of the council members had ever seen before. "Greetings, council members," the woman said. "I am Captain Rachel Moore of the Terran Defense Force. I have been authorized to deliver a message from the human colonial government." The council members stared at the screen. Behind Captain Moore, they could see the bridge of her ship. But it did not look like any human ship they had ever seen. It was sleek and advanced, with technology that seemed to glow with its own light. "For too long," Captain Moore continued, "the Council has treated humanity as stupid children who do not matter. You have laughed at us, you have insulted us, you have threatened us. Today, we begin to show you how wrong you have been." The screen changed to show a map of the galaxy. Suddenly, hundreds of red dots appeared throughout Council space. They were everywhere, near important planets, around major trade routes, close to military bases. "Each red dot represents a human ship currently operating in your territory," Captain Moore explained. "We have been there for weeks, watching you, learning about you. Our stealth technology makes us invisible to your sensors, something we developed. While you assumed we were too stupid to create anything worthwhile." The council members looked at each other in shock. Hundreds of human ships in their space? How was that possible? Another human appeared on the screen next to Captain Moore. This one was an older man with gray hair and serious eyes. "I am General Frank Williams," he said. "The ships and stations that have been disappearing have not been destroyed. They have been captured. Their crews are safe and unharmed. They are currently guests of the Terran military." "Guests?" Zexthura shouted at the screen. "You mean prisoners?" "No," General Williams said calmly. "We mean guests. We have treated them well. We have fed them, given them medical care, and answered their questions. Many of them have been quite surprised by what they have learned about human capabilities." Captain Moore stepped forward again. "We are not interested in conquest or destruction. We are interested in respect. The Council has 48 hours to agree to new peace talks. These talks will be between equals, not between masters and servants. And if we refuse?" asked Council Leader Veximora. "Then the demonstrations end," Captain Moore said. "And the real war begins." The screen went dark. The council chambers were completely silent. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. The implications of what they had just heard were too big to understand all at once. Finally, Admiral Kevinix spoke. "They have been watching us for weeks. They know our ship movements, our patrol routes, our weaknesses. They could have attacked U.S. at any time, but they chose not to." "They are bluffing," Zexthara said, but her voice was not as confident as before. "Humans do not have stealth technology. They do not have the ability to capture our ships without a fight. Then explain the missing ships, said Dr. Rodriguez. Explain how they got hundreds of vessels into our space without being detected. Explain how they developed technology that we cannot even see. Mordok was studying his intelligence reports with shaking hands. There is something else, he said quietly. Our spies in human space have been reporting strange activity for months. Massive construction projects, new factories, scientists working around the clock. We thought they were just rebuilding after the failed peace talks, but they were preparing for this, Admiral Kevinix said. They have been planning this response since the day they walked out of our meeting. How long have they been preparing? Asked a council member. According to our intelligence, they have been gathering resources and developing new technology for years, Mordok said. Maybe decades. They have been planning for the possibility of war with the council long before. The peace talks even began. The realization hit the council like a physical blow. The humans had not walked out of the peace talks in anger. They had walked out because they were ready to fight. The insults and threats had just been the excuse they needed. What do we do? Now? Asked Counselor Brentak. Council leader Veximora was quiet for a long moment. She had lived for thousands of years and had seen many wars. She knew when an enemy was stronger than expected. We have two choices, she said finally. We can agree to their terms and negotiate as equals. Or we can fight them and risk losing everything. We cannot negotiate with terrorists, Zexthara said. If we give in to their demands, every other species will think they can threaten us too. And if we fight them and lose? Asked Admiral Kevinix. What then? The council members looked at each other. For the first time in their history, they were truly afraid. The humans had shown them something they had never expected to see, that they were not the strongest species in the galaxy. Outside, in the depths of space, hundreds of invisible human ships waited for the council's answer. The 48-hour countdown had begun. The council's response was fast and angry. Within 12 hours, the largest military fleet in galactic history was moving toward human space. 3,047 ships from 8 different species, all armed with the most powerful weapons in the galaxy. The fleet was so big that it took 6 hours just to count all the ships. Admiral Kevinix commanded the massive fleet from his flagship, the Dominion. Even though he had warned the council about underestimating humans, he still believed that sheer numbers would win the day. How could any species, even clever humans, fight against 3,000 ships? All ships report ready for battle, his communications officer reported. The human system is 2 hours away. Good, Kevinix said. Send a message to all ship captains. We are not here to destroy planets or kill civilians. We are here to capture the human leadership and end this rebellion. Use minimum force necessary. But as the fleet got closer to human space, strange things began to happen. Ships that had been invisible suddenly appeared on their sensors, not just a few ships, but thousands of them. The humans had been hiding a massive fleet of their own. Commander. Don Cooper stood on the bridge of the human flagship Victory, watching the approaching alien armada. His ship was beautiful, sleek and white like a bird in flight. Behind him, Admiral Roy Jensen studied the tactical display with the calm of someone who knew exactly what was going to happen. Impressive fleet, Jensen said quietly. 3,047 ships, about 4 million alien crew members. They really want to make a statement. Orders, sir? Cooper asked. Signal all human ships. Operation Checkmate is now active. Across the galaxy, human ships that had been hiding for months suddenly became visible. They appeared near alien planets, around space stations, and along major trade routes. The aliens had thought there were only a few hundred human ships. They were wrong. There were thousands, but the real shock came when the human fleet did not move to attack. Instead, they simply waited. The massive alien fleet found itself surrounded by human ships in a perfect sphere. No matter which way they turned, there were human vessels watching them. Admiral Kevinix felt his blood turn cold, as his sensors showed him the truth. The human fleet was not just bigger than expected. It was equipped with technology that made no sense. Energy readings that suggested weapons capable of destroying entire solar systems. Shields that seemed to bend space and time itself. How is this possible? He whispered. The answer came from someone he did not expect. Dr. Lisa Hayes appeared on his communication screen. She was one of the humans who had walked out of the peace talks months ago. Behind her was a massive space station, clearly built by humans but incorporating technology from dozens of different alien species. Admiral Kevinix, she said calmly, you are wondering how we achieved this level of technology so quickly. The answer is simple. We have been preparing for this moment for 50 years. She gestured to the alien technology visible behind her. Every trade agreement, every cultural exchange, every diplomatic mission, every time an alien visited human space, we were learning. We studied your weapons, your shields, your engines. We took the best parts of what each species had to offer and combined them with human creativity. The human fleet powered down their weapons, but the message was clear. They could destroy the Council Armada easily, but they chose not to. Your fleet is impressive, Dr. Hayes continued. But it is using old technology? Technology that we have been studying and improving for decades. Our ships are faster, stronger, and more advanced than anything you have ever seen. Admiral Kevinix looked at his tactical display. The human ships were positioned perfectly. His fleet was trapped in the middle with no way to escape. But more importantly, his sensors were showing him that the human weapons were pointed at his ships but not firing. What do you want? He asked. We want what we have always wanted, Dr. Hayes replied. Respect, recognition, a place at the council table as equals, not as servants or children. And if we refuse? Then this conversation ends and the real fighting begins, but I think you can see that would not end well for your fleet. Admiral Kevinix studied the tactical display more carefully. The human ships were not just surrounding his fleet. They were in perfect position to destroy every single alien ship without taking any damage themselves. It was the most complete military trap he had ever seen. You planned this, he said, all of it. The peace talks, the walkout, everything. We hoped it would not come to this, Dr. Hayes said. We really did want to solve this peacefully. But when you made it clear that you would never treat us as equals, we had to prepare for the alternative. On the council flagship, High Chancellor Zexthara was screaming at her communications officer, "Fire at them! Destroy them all! We cannot let them humiliate us like this." But Admiral Kevinix held up his hand. No, look at the tactical display. Really look at it. If we fire first, we will all die. Every single ship in this fleet will be destroyed. Impossible! Zexthara shouted. We have 3,000 ships. They cannot fight all of us. They do not need to fight us, Kevinix said quietly. They have already won. They have better technology, better positioning, and better planning. If we attack now, we will be committing suicide. The truth was hard to accept, but it was clear to anyone who understood military tactics. The humans had outmaneuvered them. Completely. They had spent months, maybe years, preparing for this exact situation. What are your terms? Admiral Kevinix asked Dr. Hayes. Simple, she replied. The Council agrees to new peace talks. This time, humans will be treated as equals. We will have a full vote on all Council decisions, and these talks will be held on neutral ground, not in the Council chambers where you think you have all the power. And if we agree, then both fleets go home, no shots fired, no one gets hurt. The captured ships and crews are returned safely, and we start over with a new understanding between our peoples. Admiral Kevinix looked around at his officers. They all had the same expression, fear mixed with amazement. The humans had beaten them without firing a single shot. I need to speak with the Council, he said. Of course, Dr. Hayes replied. But remember, this offer expires in 1 hour. After that, we cannot guarantee what will happen. The communication ended, leaving Admiral Kevinix staring at the tactical display. The human fleet remained in position, weapons powered down but ready. They were patient, professional, and completely in control. For the first time in galactic history, The council had been outplayed by a species they had considered inferior. The humans had not just defended themselves. They had shown the entire galaxy that the council was not invincible. The age of human power had begun. 6 months later, the Treaty of New Geneva was signed on a small planet halfway between human space and the council worlds. The ceremony was different from any diplomatic meeting the galaxy had ever seen. Instead of one species dictating terms to another, 13 species sat around a circular table as equals. Ambassador Jake Morrison returned to negotiate, but this time everything was different. The condescending looks were gone. The dismissive comments had stopped. The alien diplomats, who had once treated him like a child, now listened carefully to every word he said. The human proposal for expanded trade routes is reasonable, High Chancellor Zexthara admitted during the first session. Her forearms moved carefully now, with respect rather than dismissal. We believe it will benefit all member species. But Jake was not satisfied with simple acceptance. Chancellor, this proposal is not just reasonable. It is brilliant. Humanity brings new ideas, determination, and fresh thinking to galactic civilization. We are not asking for your permission anymore. We are offering you partnership. The changes began immediately. Human technology started appearing throughout council space. Medical advances that could extend lifespans by centuries. Agricultural systems that could end hunger on dozens of worlds. Defensive weapons that made space travel safer than it had ever been before. Captain Tony Walsh, now promoted to Admiral, oversaw the integration of human ships into the Council Defense Fleet. The same aliens who had called humans primitive now eagerly requested to serve on human vessels. They wanted to learn from crews who had revolutionized space warfare in just a few months. Sir, his new alien first officer said, the Vorthan delegation is requesting permission to study our shield technology. They say it could protect their homeworld from asteroid impacts, Tony smiled. Approved. Set up a meeting with Dr. Bell. She loves teaching people about her inventions. Dr. Karen Bell had become one of the most famous scientists in the galaxy. Her breakthrough in quantum tunneling technology had changed everything. The Interspecies Research Institute she founded brought together the brightest minds from dozens of worlds to push the boundaries of what was possible. The new transport system will cut travel time between galaxies from years to days, she explained to a group of alien scientists. We can explore regions of space that have never been reached before. The alien scientists listened with amazement. Human creativity combined with alien knowledge was producing innovations that neither could have achieved alone. Diseases that had plagued species for millennia were being cured. Energy sources that had seemed impossible were becoming reality, but the most important change was in how the Council itself operated. The old system of dominant species ruling over weaker ones was replaced with true democracy. Every species, no matter how small or new, had a voice in galactic decisions. The proposal from the Kepler colony representatives has merit, said Council Leader Vexamora during a meeting about trade regulations. Even though they are a small human settlement, their ideas about resource management could help everyone. Years passed, and the changes became more dramatic. A galaxy became more peaceful as human diplomatic methods spread. Instead of threatening weaker species, the Council now helped them develop and grow. Instead of exploiting resources, they shared technology that made everyone stronger. Admiral Roy Jensen, now in charge of galactic defense, looked at the reports from across Council space. Piracy was down by 90%. Trade was booming. Scientific discoveries were being made every day. The galaxy had never been more prosperous or safe. Sir, his aide reported, the annual council meeting is next week. The agenda includes proposals from 15 different species. Everyone wants to contribute now. Good, Jensen said. That is how it should be. When everyone has a voice, everyone benefits. The old council members who had opposed humanity now found themselves working alongside human leaders on projects that helped everyone. High Chancellor Zexthara, who had once called humans primitive animals, now collaborated with human engineers to build better cities on her homeworld. Your people have taught us much, she admitted to Ambassador Morrison during a private meeting. "We were wrong to dismiss you. We were wrong to think that military strength was the only thing that mattered." "Everyone makes mistakes," Jake replied. "The important thing is learning from them and doing better next time." Dr. Sam Rodriguez, the alien scientist who had warned the Council about human capabilities, became the head of the new interspecies education program. His job was to make sure that no species would ever again underestimate another based on appearances or assumptions. "The lesson of the human integration," he would tell new council members, "is that intelligence and creativity matter more than size or age. The humans showed us that a species that seems weak can become powerful through determination and innovation." The galaxy had learned other lessons too. Young diplomats from all species now studied human negotiation techniques. Military academies taught human tactical thinking. Scientists everywhere used human methods of combining different technologies to create new solutions, but perhaps the most important change was in how species treated each other. The arrogance that had once dominated council meetings was replaced with curiosity and respect. When a new species was discovered, instead of being dismissed or conquered, they were welcomed and asked what they could contribute. "We call it the human doctrine," explained Commander Don Cooper to a group of new council members. "Every species has something valuable to offer. Every culture has wisdom worth learning. Every voice deserves to be heard." The old council system had been built on fear and domination. The new system was built on cooperation and mutual benefit. The galaxy was not just safer and more prosperous. It was more interesting, more creative, and more alive. When historians looked back on this period, they would call it the Great Awakening. The time when the galaxy realized that diversity was strength, that cooperation was more powerful than conquest, and that the smallest species could sometimes teach the greatest lessons. The humans had walked out of peace talks as rejected supplicants. They had returned as equals who transformed the galaxy forever. The Council had learned, perhaps too late but not too late to matter, that underestimating anyone was the most dangerous mistake a civilization could make. And in the end, everyone was better for it.